What's going on, guys? Derek Peachy here from Glitch PCs. I hope you guys are all having an absolutely fantastic day, and welcome back to a brand new video. So in this video, we're going to be testing if you can use two Nvidia graphics cards, but both different models, in one PC. So for this test, the two GPUs we're going to be using is an MSI GTX 1050 Ti, as well as a PNY Accelerate GTX 1660. So let's head upstairs to my office where I have a PC that can do this. So this is the PC we're going to be using. It's my custom-built PC that I built about a year ago. The specs inside are an 8th gen i5, 6 cores, 6 threads, PNY GTX 1660 graphics card, 16 gigabytes of DDR4 memory, a 1 terabyte hard drive, 500 gigabyte M.2 SSD by WD Blue, a 700 watt power supply from Thermaltake, all wrapped up inside the CMT 340 case by FSP. And there's a few extra touches as well, such as RGB lighting. So let's power down the PC and install the second graphics card. So right now we got both the GTX 1660 and the GTX 1050 Ti in there. It looks like the PC is booting up just fine. We got the loading screen right there. See? Yep. Let's see what happens if I type in my PIN. We're inside Windows 10 right now. So the very first test I'm going to be running is both of these monitors right here are both plugged into the GTX 1660. So I'm going to take that second one right there and plug it into the 1050 Ti and see if it still works just as normal. Okay, so now this monitor is plugged into the 1050 Ti, this one's plugged into the 1660. I expect this to still work. Yep, the mouse still works, it still spans across the displays. Applications are normal across the displays as well. So I guess one of the possible use cases for this is that you could potentially just get more ports. So both of these cards have an HDMI, a DVI, and a display port. So if you wanted to run 6 monitors off of this, technically you could. So the next thing we're going to do is boot up a game and see if we see any performance increase. Now I don't expect a performance increase, considering these cards are not in SLI configuration, meaning they're not sharing any memory, they're not sharing any kind of information with each other. So I don't expect there to be, but you never know. This is not a usual setup. There's not a lot of people that have tested this, so we're going to see if we get a performance gain by having two non-SLI graphics cards in one PC. So normally CSGO gets about 100-ish, well, it never drops below 100 FPS. Usually it gets around 200 in-game FPS. Sometimes it hits 500 every once in a while. Right now it looks like in the menu we're getting around 500 FPS, so that seems about normal for the menu. I'm just going to put this, let's see, right about there so that maybe you can see it a little bit better. So yeah, that's pretty normal. Right now on the loading screen we're hitting like 999 FPS. So this is pretty normal for this PC to be able to hit those types of FPS, especially in the loading screen. So yeah, again, I don't expect to see much of a performance increase with this setup. Again, just because both cards are not sharing any information with each other, it just doesn't make sense. Now, one of the possible use cases for this graphics card is running OBS, and OBS has a feature in it called NVEC for Nvidia cards, and it allows you to have the graphics card do some of the processing for you. And so that's one of the possible use cases I could see for it, is using the GTX 1050 Ti to run OBS through streaming, to encode your streaming, and then use the actual like 1660 in my case to use the to run the game. And that may take some load off of it, but I still don't think you're going to be seeing a whole lot of performance increase, just because the GPU has a special processing unit just to process encoding and things like that, so it doesn't really limit your performance anyway. But in a sense, you could use it kind of in a way as a capture card. So, and then the second use case, like I said before, is that you could use it to run more monitors. So as we see here, I'm getting basically no performance increase or decrease. We're still running at about 200 to 300 and maybe 80 FPS. Sometimes it hits 400 FPS around here. So not really a huge performance increase. That's kind of what I expected, since again the cards aren't sharing any information with each other. I'm not sure if there's a way in this game where you can see what graphics card. Yeah, there's nothing about like really GPU anything. I'm getting about 200, 185 FPS while actually playing the game. This is pretty good. This is some decent performance, but again, I don't think the GTX 1050 Ti is actually doing anything. So just to see, we're going to go to performance here. Here we have the GTX 1050 Ti, and it's at 0%, and the 1660 is at like 7%. So yeah, it's definitely not. Yeah, now the 1660 is at like 60-70% usage, and the 1050 Ti isn't actually doing anything at all. So that makes sense, just because, yeah, again, they're not running SLI, so there wouldn't be any shared information between the two. So guys, this was definitely a pretty interesting test. So yes, you can run two different graphics cards in your PC at the same time. The two possible use cases would be as kind of a capture card type thing for OBS, and running more monitors. That's the only use case. You're not going to get any performance gains or anything else out of this. So definitely an interesting test. I hope you guys did enjoy it. If you guys don't follow me on Instagram, make sure to follow me there. I'll leave a link down in the description below. Also, check out my website. We're starting to sell products, computer parts, gaming peripherals, and entire gaming PCs, and just regular PCs. So make sure to go check that out, and I'll also leave that link down in the description below for you as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.